Let's talk Tanya for the 6th of Nisan of a leap year. Today's Tanya, the entire segment today in Tanya is a Hagah. Hagah is a side note. There are various side notes in Tanya. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is the only segment in the entire Tanya where an entire day's Tanya is a Hagah, is one of these side notes. So in the previous days, we're talking here about the revelation of God's holiness, which exists in the higher worlds, and which we tap into when we do a mitzvah with kavanah. We do a mitzvah with kavanah, we're elevating the mitzvah, and by elevating the mitzvah, it's able to experience that revelation that is manifest in the higher worlds. In this Hagah, on this note, Dr. Rebbe is going to talk a little more about the nature of this revelation that the mitzvah causes in the higher worlds. So, the first thing we need to understand is there's a concept in Kabbalah. In fact, Kabbalah is filled with this idea called yichudim. Yichudim means creating unities or unifications. Just like over here in this world, in order to be able to, when a man and a woman, a male and a female get together, they procreate. The same thing is also that physical reality is a reflection of the way we work spiritually. That also in the higher worlds, in the spiritual worlds, there are the male aspects and the female aspects. And when we cause a unity between the two of them, a unification, a yichud, so that causes the creation of a new light, a new energy, which then flows outwards towards the lower worlds. And very specifically, we're trying to make yichudim in the world of Atzilus, the world of godliness. And there we have the 10 different divine attributes. And some of those attributes are male attributes. Some of those are female attributes. Some of them are more masculine, some are more feminine. And we want to bring them together, and that brings a flow into the system of worlds, a flow of holiness, of godliness into the system of worlds. Every single time that we learn Torah or we do a mitzvah, we are creating a yichud. And how is that? Because a yichud is created by the revelation of a light which is even higher. Because whenever you want to bring together two opposites, it's by them both submitting to the revelation of a higher light, a light which is above and beyond them. So when we do a mitzvah, we are unleashing a flow of God's resonant, of God's will. God's will is higher than Atzilus, because God's will is the source of everything. Everything that exists because God wants it to exist. And because the mitzvah we are doing is God's will, God wants us to do a mitzvah. When we do a mitzvah, we're causing a flow of divine will into the world of Atzilus, which in turn causes the unification of the various attributes in the world of Atzilus. That causes a flow into all the worlds of Bria and Yetzirah. And that is the revelation in those worlds. And when we do a mitzvah with kavanah, we are elevating our mitzvah to the worlds of Bria or Yetzirah, which is where the revelation of the divine flow, which is caused by the yichud, which we cause to doing a mitzvah, is felt. So that is just the technical behind the story of the revelation in the higher worlds that is caused through us doing a mitzvah, and exactly how it is caused through us doing the mitzvah or through studying the Torah. In tomorrow's Tanya, we're going to move out of the Hagah, go back into the main part of Tanya, and we're going to find out how, based on everything that we've spoken about in the past few days, we can understand why it is that the Zohar describes Ahava and Yira, love of God and awe of God, as wings. And for those paying attention to what we're talking about the last few days, maybe already you can imagine why, but we'll spell it out, God willing, in tomorrow's Tanya.